Today I'm going to talk with you about how to find your podcasting voice, brand, and identity based on my own experience, and I hope it can be of help mainly to those who are starting a podcast or trying to improve their branding. I used to work in radio stations in Argentina, but when I moved to a new country, I began to feel the need to express myself again in my native language through a microphone. In this context, it was suggested to me that I should start a podcast, and I want to briefly share with all of you how that process has been going for the past 4 years. As the first step, I focused on idea and planning. At this stage, the most important thing to take into consideration is that the idea is not just an idea. It needs to have a purpose. This could be thought of as the foundation of a house or a building. A consistent structure and foundation are necessary to hold everything else. This will be of great help when designing a more precise path towards your objective and identifying the aspects that will or will not work. Of course, it will also help you orient yourselves when creating a logo and everything related to the aesthetic content for dissemination, that is, as you will want to capture the spirit on a visual level. In the middle of this process, I was discovering through trial and error that although there are similarities between a podcast and a radio show, which at that time was my only reference, they are actually very different products with their own unique features. When you plan a podcast, you have to think about a target, an audience with certain characteristics, age, profession, and interests, data related to geography, when they could listen to you, and even through what device or platform. When I started with my podcast in Spanish, two unforeseen events occurred to me that revealed data was crucial to know my audience better. Let me tell you what they were. In the first place, although my podcast was produced and oriented to the geographical area that mainly comprises Argentina and Uruguay, my podcast was well received at that first moment in Argentina, Peru, and even in Brazil, where there is a percentage of the population that makes good use of Spanish language. But there were not many downloads from Uruguay as I expected. During the second stage, and after making some changes, the number of downloads increased in the countries that were already being listened to, but a large number of downloads from the United States, Colombia, and Canada appeared. However, in Uruguay, they were still few. I began to wonder why, and the answer was actually quite simple. There are many countries that don't listen to podcasts. It's not a habit that their societies have adopted yet. Uruguay, despite the close proximity to Argentina at a geographical level, thinks differently when it comes to consuming media. On the other hand, in countries like the US, not only do they have a great podcast culture, but there is also a big Spanish-speaking population, so it made sense that they would listen to non-English content. I want to say that although culture is always evolving, we still have to relate to it and take it into consideration, especially when marketing and spreading our podcast, to ensure that the invitation to our proposal at least reaches new places. The second unforeseen event in my planning was in relation to the age range of my audience. My intention at the beginning was to focus on an audience between 25 to 40 years old, but the data eventually showed it mainly captured the interest of ages between 40 to 60. Parallel to this unexpected result, a detail emerged that I personally find very relevant. I discovered that although these were people to handle technology on a daily basis, they were not familiar with the handling of the podcasting platforms. And when they tried, they didn't understand how to subscribe to receive notifications of new episodes, or they wait to get home to do it from the computer because they didn't know that they could download episodes to listen to them without the need for internet on their mobile phones. Their experience could be improved. And this showed that there is a large part of a potential audience that many may be missing. I think it's necessary to analyze why people listen to podcasts, but also why there are people who don't listen to them. It's important because there is a whole sector that shows interest in certain topics and could become your loyal audience if only they know how to use the technology. Statistics in the US show that 35% of people who don't listen to podcasts, despite being aware of them, say it's because they don't know how to find a podcast. Other top reasons include being unsure of how to listen to a podcast, not knowing where to start amid the plethora of choices, or not really understanding what a podcast is. Then another essential point to consider is statistics. Even if they are few, we need them. They will be of great help to be able to analyze the results of your work. With statistics, we can think of new ideas to improve our marketing strategies and grow our episode engagement. I recently read that 90% of podcasts don't get past episode 3. That's 1.8 million who quit. Of the 200,000 left, 90% will quit after 20 episodes. That's another 180,000 gone. Therefore, to be in the top 1% of podcasts in the world, you only need to publish 21 episodes. Remember that your podcast can reach any corner of the planet. It's not a problem at the level of resources. I mean, we can access the internet, basic equipment at affordable prices to record, and many platforms where to upload them. But I think we should consider other factors. That is, in every corner of the planet, we have different societies, different cultural habits, etc. That will influence in one way or another the reception of your podcast, and therefore all this will shape the results of the statistics. A statistic in 2019 showed that 82.4% of podcast listeners spend more than 7 hours a week listening to podcasts. In 2020, there were 850,000 active podcasts and over 30 million podcast episodes. Through statistics, we can also know that nearly 3 out of 4 podcast consumers in the US say they enjoy tuning into podcasts to learn new things and do so on a monthly basis. That aside, podcasts are also a form of entertainment and a source of news and inspiration for listeners. Having access to data and statistics is very important, in the same way that it's important to readapt, to be open to changes and unexpected situations. Learn to go along with the current of the river and flow towards some modification or even the emergence of a new idea, perhaps different from the one you had originally planned, but of course, maintaining its essence. We have to train our ability to adapt and pay attention to all the information we can gather. I'm convinced that this balance is crucial because, unlike in the past with conventional media, audiences nowadays don't strictly listen to a radio show. or in this case, a single podcast. And we have to constantly try to gain their attention, to be in our listeners' interests. I have witnessed many talks in which it's debated, even within the media area, whether it's effective to limit yourself to seeing the results of the statistics and only offer the public what the public asks for, or whether to take the initiative to be disruptive. There is a media entrepreneur in Argentina who is characterized by being disruptive and always says that sometimes being too early is the same as being too late. Personally, I think that perhaps the key to successful content may be in a balance between what the audience wants and the effect of surprising them with something they are not expecting. I don't think it's efficient to copy an idea because it has already been successful and therefore lost its uniqueness, at least to that audience. I think success comes from inspiration and from building your own identity. A personal feel to our product is what will end up making it unique. In this sense, we must appeal to our individual virtues and our instincts so that our creative ideas may also be merged with other related ideas, especially when working as a group, in a way that a new idea might emerge, combining them all, but with its own character. Throughout this process, you will notice a transformation. At the beginning, your podcast will reflect a lot about yourself, and after a while, it will acquire its own identity. One that will be built between what you contribute, the audience, the statistics, and the new ideas that arise. Before continuing, I want to mark a detail around this topic. Statistics and information about our audiences are important. However, if with this information we get a large number of listeners, but only a small portion of them are truly engaging with us, then there's something we can improve. For example, some people think that you need to have 10,000 followers or listeners to be able to get sponsors. I disagree with that. What matters is engagement among those listeners. Generate a real interest from the listener in our content. For that, we should try to improve every aspect of our podcast. And for that, we should observe the statistics with a focus on quality over quantity and devise strategies on social media accordingly. All this, at the end of the day, is about communication between people. And whatever we can use to improve that communication is nothing more than tools that we have at our disposal. It all depends on how we use those tools to reach our goals. It may sound like a no-brainer, but these are details that form the foundation of our work, and we shouldn't underestimate them. Finally, I would like to invite you to think about the aspect that characterizes a podcast, an aspect that radio shares with discussing. I recently read an article that expressed it perfectly. A podcast is a kind of online audio broadcast. Unlike a video or a blog post, a podcast does away the visual element. Something we learn when working for radio is to be careful not to fall into monotony. We should never forget that we can only interact with one of our listeners' senses, their hearing. We must try to create a rhythm that prevents their ears from getting bored. Let's also remember that the average time that a human can focus, generally constant attention for a 2 years old is around 5 minutes. For older children and adults, it's a maximum of 20 minutes. Knowing these things, we can improve the experience of our audience and increase the chances of them coming back to us over and over again. Creating our podcast and keeping it running takes a considerable amount of work and time, so you should be passionate about it. You will find yourself generating content, recording and editing, but also replying to comments, designing a logo, or posting on social media, because 64% of people learn about podcasts through social networks. There is much to do, but it's an exciting journey that gives us great satisfaction. More and more people join to listen to podcasts every day, and more of us have something to say or share with them. The best time to start a podcast is today. Thank you very much.